Yeah, I think, for the time being, we'll just go ahead and kind of jump in. So for people who maybe aren't as familiar with Vimcal, we started doing calendaring about 5 years ago, and what we've sort of found is EAs are also a big group of people that were jumping on a lot of our calls. So we started Vimcal EA about 2 years ago. So, you know, in terms of what we had originally, EA said it covered about 70% of what they were looking to do or what they needed to just be more efficient with scheduling. And through a lot of feedback and just calls with EAs we've now built out that 30%, and we feel that a lot of our tools now are basically more than enough to make you a lot more efficient and just help you with scheduling on a day-to-day basis. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just start sharing my screen here. Before you sign into the calendar itself, you'll actually be greeted by this screen here. So how Vimcal works is, if we're doing our job correctly, it's basically just a layer on top of either your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. So anything that you can see in your Outlook or Google Calendar, you will just see it synced over to Vimcal. So your execs don't even have to know that Vimcal exists. This is really just more for you to use as a tool to schedule and just work out of the calendar. And if we now look here, I just have the calendar up, and then I also have my email. So everything that you need to know is going to be in this upper right-hand corner over here. So it is our quick actions section. And we're going to just basically go over 4 core features, anything from sharing availability to auto deleting holds, and then time zone conversion and collaborative scheduling. So before I sort of jump in here, I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen. If I could actually just gauge, just on a daily basis, how many of you guys are, looking at your calendar and saying, Tuesday, 3 o'clock works, Thursday from 1 p.m. to 1:45 works as a block of time, and then switching over to your email. Awesome. All day, too many times. Yep, exactly. Perfect. Yep. So we do have a solution, and it's called Slots. So I'm just going to go ahead and reshare my screen here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go under Quick Actions up here, and we're going to just click on Slots. And really, just what we're going to end up doing is just dragging a few times just with our mouse. So here, I'm just going to come in here. Perfect. And what we're now seeing here is Vimcal takes care of the work for you. It just creates an email formatted message along with the times that we want to share. And so it's really just as simple as that. So instead of having to manually type those times out, we take care of that for you. And then all that's left to do from here is just copy to the clipboard. So this blue button in the lower right-hand corner. And we're going to now switch over to my email. And we're just going to go ahead and paste that in. Simple enough. And I'll stop sharing my screen just for a second again. In terms of, I guess just in terms of efficiency, does that seem like that would be a little bit quicker of a process than what you guys are currently doing? Perfect. Awesome. Yes. So I did see somebody say, does it include the time zone? So I'm actually going to just share my screen one more time. If we actually look here in the email formatted message for what we just pasted, it does say Pacific time. So since I'm based out of San Francisco, it does say Pacific, and then it also shares that time here. Speaking of just time zones, on a daily basis, how many times or how many time zones are you guys normally like dealing with or working with? Okay, 3 to 4. 3 to 4, 2 to 3, maybe 2 to 3. Yep. Okay, got it. No, that's fair. That's fair. So I do think that one of the most used features is going to be our time travel feature. If we go ahead and click on the slots feature, and let's say we want to, again, just drag a couple times. Perfect. We can actually just integrate in or add in a time zone easily by clicking this little plus right here. And then we can easily add, let's say, legal as an example. Perfect. We enter that in, And what we're now seeing is on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll notice that we have a similar message as before. The only difference now is we've actually included that time zone that we've overlaid. So Eastern time is now included in that stream of just times that we've offered. You'll also notice that on the left-hand side of the calendar over here, that you'll see basically like a side-by-side comparison of the time zones, as well as this smooth white section that is just covering overlapping awake hours where both people would be awake or working. And again, it's just as simple as copying this to the clipboard and sharing this in an email. Can we do, yes, so sorry, I'm also reading the chat as we kind of go through here. So I just want to take a look. Can it automatically switch if you don't want to write it based on your own calendar time zones? Yes, so you actually have the option here. So I'll just share my screen just one more time. We're going to go back to Vimcal and we'll go to slots. And let's say we click a few times and we add back in that New York time zone. You do have the option to just have it send from Pacific time, or if you wanted to, you can toggle this on and this will show both time zones in succession, so one after the other. Let's see, any other questions? Yes, so the other nice thing, so can you do 3 time zones at a time? Yes. Let's go ahead. I'll just share my screen again. So right now, just kind of like the example we went through before, we have 1 time zone, which is Eastern. I'm going to go ahead and add an additional 2. So maybe we'll add Central time, so maybe Chicago. Perfect. And maybe we'll add Mountain time. So maybe November. Perfect. As you can see, the window may get a little smaller depending on if you're doing more international calls or international meetings. But again, we basically try to give you that window of time that would work best for everybody. One other thing that we've built out that we've gotten a lot of feedback from EAs about is auto deleting holds. Just by maybe saying yes or no, how often do you guys put calendar holds on your exec's calendar? Okay, got it. Depends. Yeah, that's probably true depending on the level or the exec that you're managing all the time. See, every day, daily. Okay, got it, got it. So I think to kind of build off of what we've already talked about in terms of when you need to share availability or share times on behalf of your exec, we come to the slots feature. Again, we're just going to drag a few times here. So maybe we'll do here, and then maybe we'll do a lockdown here. And what you'll notice is there's actually a section for holds. We can easily just check this on just to make sure we're creating a hold for meeting with Johnny. That's what we're going to do. And boom, we'll just copy this to the clipboard. And what we're seeing is the times that we've decided to offer to this person. So when we go to the email to paste this in, we have the times here. But now your exec can also see what times you've actually offered to that specific person. So they would know, okay, so this is a hold for a meeting with Johnny. Let's say Johnny then has the chance to reply and says, hey, Dylan, let's do, Friday from 12 to 12:30. So what we can now do is we actually also can have Johnny pull up the link as well. So let's say we offer these times. And again, let's say the 12th works. So he does that. So he goes, Johnny. Cool. That's what we do. We will schedule the event. And now if we go back to the Vimcal calendar, we see that the event with Johnny is here. And the holds for the calendar that we originally saw are now removed completely. Just by a show of hands, how helpful would that be? Just for you guys, just as you're going through. Awesome. Yes. Perfect. So helpful. That's great. I also just want to make sure I'm looking at the chat just to make sure everybody is able to see. Does Vimcal show multiple calendar appointments as one? So Marta, I saw you asked this a little bit earlier, but to kind of show you as well, with Vimcal, how it works is you're able to see either your Google or your Outlook calendar just within Vimcal. So if you have access to that calendar or permission to view that calendar, you should be able to also see it here in Vimcal in one consolidated view. So if you guys work across Outlook and Google, you can see both in the same place. Is the meeting scheduled by the invitee? So Becky, I saw that you asked that. Just before I kind of pivot to my last point with group vote, I will get to that. So in terms of where it comes from, you'll notice that I actually have in the upper right-hand corner, the executive accounts I have access to. So right now I'm scheduling on behalf of Johnny. So the invite and whatever conferencing link that you guys set up, whether it's Zoom or Teams, will come from Johnny and not from you. Is this an add-in? So Vimcal is basically just a layer on top, but it's not an add-in within Outlook itself, but we do sync with Outlook. So anything that gets added to either your calendar or your exec's calendar will be synced over to Vimcal, and anything that you do in Vimcal will then go over to Outlook as well. So two-way sync. It is instantaneous. It will probably take a second just initially to load into the calendar, but once we have that, it should load over instantly when an event comes in. Really, the last thing I want to cover is really just a use case that we've run into with a lot of EAs in terms of scheduling larger internal meetings. Is that something that you guys do on a consistent basis, just looking at everybody's calendar or trying to pull like who is available at what times? Yep, awesome. Got it. Yep, we're seeing a lot of that. Yes, internal is huge. Got it. That's good. So I would say that one of the features that we most recently pushed out is going to be under group polls. So we have two options here. So group polls is going to be more of like voting on specific times for a larger group of people, or what I'm going to show you today is going to be group spreadsheet. And this is more of a collaborative spreadsheet where you can offer up times and just have either the team of EAs that you work with or the individuals come in and vote on times that work for them. So we're going to start with a new group spreadsheet. Let's just say it's a strategy meeting. You also have the ability to create a hold for this. Maybe we'll do 45 minutes. Perfect. So we're just going to go ahead and maybe we'll click a few times here. And maybe we'll do some for next week. Sweet. So we have a few times listed out here. The next step is really just adding who needs to be on the call, which again, you guys normally have the list of people that need to be added. So we'll go ahead and add a few people here. So maybe we'll do Pat, and maybe we'll do Jan, and maybe we'll do one more. Maybe we'll do Lorraine. Awesome. So we have everybody's calendar. You'll see that it's overlaid. So maybe you have to make a slight adjustment. So maybe we move to 2:45 instead. The other piece that I think is really important is critical attendees. There seems to be, with any meeting that you schedule, there's somebody that has probably top priority or higher priority in terms of what times work for them. So maybe for this one, we'll put Pat. And so now that we have the times, we have the title, we have what duration, and we have the list of attendees, we can go ahead and hit create. Perfect. So now what we're seeing is just a quick link that you can now either go to your email and quickly, paste it in here and hyperlink it, or you can open up the link itself. So let's say we do that here. You can then see basically just a list of what times we're offering here, and also just the ability for either the EA who's managing Pat or Pat herself to just come in and offer up some of these times here. The other piece to this is that you can also add like notes. So let's say on Thursday, December 5th, Jan only available via phone. So just like small things that you can start to like piece together what time would work best, and so that everybody, if they need to be on, video or on phone, they can just, you can start to make those decisions yourself. Cool. We'll go ahead and press save. And this just confirms that the vote has been submitted. So we're going to go back to Vimcal real quick. And what I don't want you guys to worry about is remembering where to go. So how it works is, let's say you get out of everything and you forget where you had the link. You can also come back to group polls, and any active link that you've sent out or created is going to be showing right here. So you can view the results live. So as people start to fill out some of these days and times, you can have a quick view of what is currently the most popular option. From here, all you have to do is select the time that you want. So we'll do December 5th. We'll hit create. And this, again, just fast tracks us to the event form, just to create the event with all the attendees. And we'll go ahead and hit create. And yeah, that's as easy as it gets. So just super simple. Hopefully that is a little bit easier than what you guys are used to doing in terms of just bulk scheduling or just scheduling those larger scale meetings. So I know we're getting close to the end time. So maybe I can just spend this last minute or two just sort of answering any questions that you guys had in terms of just what I went over or just anything in general. Can you use the group poll with external people as well? Yes. So that is a good question. You can actually share this link with anybody. They don't have to have a Vimcal account. They don't have to know Vimcal exists. They just can open up that link and it will share the times that you're trying to offer or schedule the meeting for. Just as kind of like a final reminder, guys, if you did happen to stay the full time, thank you for taking the time. But you will also receive just a follow-up email, as well as a link just if you want to hop on a call just to learn a little bit more. We can ask you a few questions and then just sort of strategize to see how we can get Vimcal EA with your company. Yes, so we do offer personalized onboarding calls. So they're actually about 45 minutes, and you have a personal onboarding specialist just walking through core features, just like I did here today, maybe in a little bit more depth, but also just kind of learning how you guys like to schedule and just showing you tools and just tips on how to be more efficient. Yep, and also like Alex said, it's a 2-week program. So we also do like check-in calls and also just are here for you in case you guys have any questions. Awesome. Thank you guys so much again for just taking the time, and look out for that follow-up email. All right, take care.